All right, we're live. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
It's me, Shredriffs, the Dark Lord.
It is I, Shredriffs, the Dark Lord. Joining me today, Jordan Thompson on the vocals.
He's really doing it.
He's doing it.
Hello.
And to my left is Wesley Thompson,
Hi.
fastest feet in Nashville, on the drums.
Okay, this is what my real voice sounds like. Hopefully, you guys are hearing everything okay. There's going to be a slight delay on at least my camera, but we're gonna roll with it. But we wanted to put together this little live stream for everybody. I've always wanted to live stream, and this was a great opportunity because we have a new album out, and I thought it would be fun to kind of sit down with Jordan and Wes, my bandmates of coming up on 2 years. We've been working on music together. I thought it would be fun to, talk about the album, listen to it, talk about some of the high points of the album. I don't know, just different things that come to mind as we listen to the record. So if anyone is there and you are watching, feel free to comment. That way we know that you are there. We can't see you, but you can see us. And if there's any like technical issues, like you can't hear anything or it sounds completely awful, just let me know and we may have to try again another time or something. But I'm pretty sure I've got all the kinks worked out and we're rolling. So, okay, so let's just go around really quick and tell everybody what we're sipping on. Jordan, what are you drinking?
I've got Orpheus Brewing's Over and Over and Over. Sour ale with pineapple and vanilla. Orpheus Brewing is my probably favorite brewery. Anyway, of them all, I think.
Where are they based out of?
Atlanta, just outside Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Michael might be listening. He's like the local rep for them.
What's up, Michael?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wes is drinking the same thing.
Yeah.
What's on the can?
Same thing.
These are two large birds. You want me to read the little synopsis of this beer?
Sure.
The grievous cycle of transmigration of souls could only be broken after the mysteries of the gods were revealed to Orpheus. Those mysteries have been lost to time, so enjoy your endless loop. We packed in as much tropical fruit and brightness as we could, then rounded it out with vanilla for a beer you'll want over and over. Don't look back.
They got that right.
Nice. So what do you think about the taste of it? You think it's
perfect.
Good?
Yes.
Is it
Some of their sours get like really Brett funky, but this one is like it just tastes like a pineapple milkshake, but but no lactose, because it's better without that.
Yeah, I don't like lactose in it.
It's refreshing anyway.
They put lactose in sour beers.
Oh, well, like Southern Grist does. Some breweries
Bearded
do it too
Iris
much.
does it too.
And it to me it takes away from the refreshing aspect and makes it more like really heavy,
This is like a beach day carnival cruise type of enjoy yourself in the sun type of beverage.
7.5%.
Nice.
But 100% delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder, try to talk really close to your mic. It's probably loud in your own ears. If you need me to turn you down, I can.
Cool.
But okay, so I am sipping. Well, okay, I drank a lot of coffee today, so I was sipping on some coffee. It's just Kroger brand private selection, Ethiopian Yirgacheffe actually. Their private selection stuff slaps pretty hard.
Really?
Yeah, like obviously like the lower quality Kroger brand coffee's really bad, but if you get their private selection stuff and you make like an AeroPress of it, it really hits hard, man. It really does the job. I haven't eaten anything today either, so I'm basically just running on allergy meds and coffee. So I'm pretty turnt right now, if you will.
On allergy meds and coffee.
So Ben Stauffer, is that how you say Ben's last name? Ben Stauffer, thanks for listening, man. I'm glad that it sounds good, and hopefully it looks good too.
Ben's been super helpful with us, like keeping our online presence straight and organized.
Ben has been Ben is the man,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's huge thank you to Ben for helping us with the promotion of the album, so we don't have like 7 different photos that we're all promoting at once.
Yes,
we
yeah.
have like sort of
And the smart links and the Pandora.
some continuity to what we're doing. Yeah. So in a second here, we're going to listen to our first song on our record. It's called White Ashes. Many of you have probably already heard it, but we're going to just sort of talk over it and just share some thoughts and memories that we have of that song. Oh, yeah. I wanted to do a quick shout out. Garret Cullman. He is our former keyboard player. Garret, it's his birthday today. So,
Happy birthday, Garret.
Happy birthday, Garret.
Happy birthday,
Where are
man. Yeah, dude, wishing you the best day ever.
Absolutely.
But Garret decided to step away from the band recently to focus on some other things. He's also talking about moving out of the state, so he thought it would be best to move on to other endeavors. But Garret wrote about 4 of the 7 songs on this album, I'm going to say.
Yeah, White Ashes was the first one that started this band.
Yeah.
So most of the structure of the songs was written by Garret, and then when I joined the band, I came in and sort of wrote my own guitar parts and interpreted the chord changes and things in the way that I thought it should sound. And Garret was really cool about that, and for the most part, he really liked what I did with the songs, as far as I know. And then I also wanted to give another birthday shout out to Austin Woodward. Austin is our producer. He's the one who produced Solastalgia. That's the name of our record. And he did a fantastic job. He didn't charge us very much money at all. He gave us a great deal. He worked his butt off. And we are really happy with how it sounds and the result of it. So
yeah, White Ashes too, the song we're about to listen to in particular. When I was tracking that one, Austin had a huge part in the drums on that, because the parts were totally different at first, and I tried to record it that way, and it was like muscle memory for me at that point. And then he pointed out some stuff that I should do differently to make it better, and we spent like a day working on just revisiting that song, and I think that it turned out way better because of Austin's input.
Oh, you're talking about drum tracking?
Yeah, for White Ashes in particular, like that's the big one that he had a huge part in developing that one.
That's cool. Yeah, like we have a bunch of videos and stuff that we took from when we were recording the album, and we're probably going to try to find somebody that wants to edit that stuff together and make a little mini doc so you guys can see some clips from how the album came together. It's really just me sitting in Austin's house playing guitar, Wes in Shibby Poole's studio playing. It's a very grungy studio, but it's very vibey and awesome.
Yeah, it was that was quite a day, because it was like pouring rain, flooding, and it was like creepy looking garage.
And he's right by that railroad, so the trains kept coming by. We had to stop tracking and wait for the train.
It was like so ominous.
Super creepy day. Well, let's get into it. Let's start playing the song. We're gonna probably be here for about an hour, but we may hang out longer than that. But here we go. This song is called White Ashes. So, this was like really the first song that we played as a band, I think. Right?
This is where it really, I think this was the first one that Garret came to y'all with, all the original group from y'all's previous project. This is like the first thing, right? I've been hearing different variations of this song for like 3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to every demo of this song, it's different every time.
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely become something that feels like a collective thing. Like we've all, like this final version, we all really own a piece of it, you know, because it's just had so much time to develop. But that Garret's piano is one of my favorite parts of the record, you know.
Yeah, his playing is absolutely beautiful. on this record. So these chords that are happening now, it's really just two chords. It's D minor and then G minor, and then I'm doing little suspensions on the guitar, and there's some tremolo picking and stuff like that. I have my guitar. If anybody wants to ask guitar questions, I'm plugged in and ready to play. So if you want to hear that, just let me know.
This is your moment right here.
This is my moment.
Your big solo.
And then Jordan comes back in.
Garret wrote like 80% of the lyrics to this as well.
What, you want to talk about the lyrics?
Yeah, I mean, it was originally his idea was he wanted to do a whole EP that was just based around the idea of like solitude, and like to an extent we kind of when we met to co-write this, we kind of both had in common like a struggle with seasonal depression, specifically in the winter. Mm-hmm. So this song's all about that, in a way, that sense of solitude, and specifically that can come from the colder months when you're just alone in your house, maybe more often. Of course, we're all dealing with that now and have been for like a year, but I think that's kind of where we kind of met in the middle on this, and it's kind of talking about all the feelings that can go through, how those kind of emotions can change you, but then also kind of what the consequences can be when others don't step in and do something about it, when the people in your life don't see you struggling and reach out to help.
Right. You feel like you're in it alone, you know?
Yeah, and what the consequences can be for yourself and also for those around you. You know.
Yeah. Well, and the weather is just completely awful here in Nashville and Tennessee. It's not pretty and white. It's not beautiful. It's just sleet, rain, bad road conditions.
You just can't. Yeah.
Freezing cold, but not enough to snow. And it's brown and gray for like a bunch of months. Probably pretty much November until February. It's pretty. Yeah. I mean, we'll have sunny days once in a while, but yeah. Nothing really happening in the chat right now. Kind of bummed about that. But
we got some people on there.
Hopefully we got some. Looks like there's 16 people watching.
Awesome.
Which is cool. So if you're there, if you're watching, just post up a comment, man. We'll shout back at you. My girlfriend Courtney says it sounds and looks great. Sick.
Courtney makes really good chili, and she's just very nice. Those are two facts about Courtney.
She makes a lot of great food for me.
Yeah.
I have yet to have that chili.
It was so good.
Heck yeah. She does a lot of baked goods too, like a lot of desserts. She did key lime pie, lemon bars. There's this crazy chocolate cake that she made for her dad's birthday.
Oh yeah, she made gluten-free cupcakes that time too.
Here we are talking about baked goods.
Okay, Ben wants to know, what does Solastalgia mean and what is the inspiration for it?
Ah, perfect. Okay, I'm going to read the official definition for you, and then I'll kind of talk about it a little more.
This is, as he's looking it up, this is when we were talking about what to call the album, and Jordan was throwing all kinds of ideas out there. And I was looking up all of them because he knows so many words that I don't know. And he threw this word in there, and when I looked it up and read it, knowing the lyrics and everything, I was like, that's got to be the name of it.
Okay, so the official definition for solastalgia, which is a somewhat newer word, is the distress caused by environmental change. So on this album we talk a lot. I use a ton of natural metaphor and probably always will. And there are some songs that are pretty much directly inspired by nature. We've got Scorched Earth that kind of addresses the forest fires in Gatlinburg. We've got all the songs touch on nature in some aspect, but so this album touches a lot on on changes in the natural world, but also within ourselves. Most of them you can kind of take into at least two directions. We also, of course, had a close friend pass away we've kind of attributed the whole record to her. It's kind of released in her honor. So there's a couple of songs that directly address kind of grief and all that. So, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great explanation. I mean, when I think of the word solastalgia, I think of how human beings get into like patterns, and we develop these mechanisms of comfort around us. And then when something changes, like a death, or even if you break a bone or like you get in a car accident, your idea of what reality is gets shaken up really, really heavily. And then you sort of question the meaning of your life, and you see how close you are to the other side, to death. And I think that's what's happening a lot right now in our society. Like people are starting to see society unravel a little bit, and they long for the way that things used to be. Like things were better before the pandemic. Things were better before people were rioting and burning buildings down. And before, I mean, racial injustice has been around for a long time, but before, I guess, it became in the forefront of what we all talk about every day, things seemed better. But, like, were they better? So there's, like, this nostalgic feeling for the way that things were, like, when you were a kid even, thinking about how much you didn't know, but your reality was safer. And so that's what that word means to me. So anyway,
It makes sense, yeah.
But
Yeah, it's been a year where we've all been forced to adapt in so many ways that I never thought I would have to, So there's a lot of forced change happening within everybody right now.
Which is interesting timing because we started tracking this in February, so we didn't know this was going to happen yet.
Right, and most of the songs were written well before we knew that the pandemic was going to hit. It just happens to be kind of quite relevant for the times, kind of incidentally,
Yeah.
I mean, I think every song on this was written before the pandemic hit.
yeah, the timing for this record is really odd because like we were supposed to have this done by the end of February, because Austin, our producer, was going to move to Japan and just live there indefinitely, or for 6 months.
That's right.
Austin is like this like type of savant character that he's learning Japan, he's learning piano, he plays gypsy jazz guitar, he's a metal producer, and he's 23 years old. You know what I mean? It's just like, where did this guy come from? But I met Austin like 5 years ago when I first started studying guitar with Shane Roberts, and that's how I met Austin. And we had always wanted to make music together or to record stuff together, and I'm glad that I got the opportunity to work with him in this capacity. But I don't know where I was going with that, but the timing, right? Like, we should have had this done a lot sooner, but it seems like it was meant to come out now that it's October, it's fall.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Yeah, because we were rushing, and then suddenly we realized, instead of rushing, we have all the time in the world.
And then we took forever. We took all our sweet time to get it done.
Yeah. So
No, it's been so nice, honestly, to have this to work on during this whole time. It's been huge for me, hugely helpful to have this to look for. Not just the release, but continuing work on the album, and then the release has just been such a very healing,
Wes, do you want to talk about the song that we're listening to right now?
Nightfall. This was another one of the songs that when we very first started this project, White Ashes was the first song, but then we had Scorched Earth and Nightfall were the other ones. This song changed more from how it started to what you hear now on the record is so dramatically different on this particular one. But this is one that we had a really good structure for, and it was a really good song already. And then when Drew came aboard, and it really like fleshed it out and turned it into something that we could get super excited about.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, this song really struggled for a while. It was hard to make it sound cool, you know, and
It felt empty.
yeah, it just felt kind of naked for a while. But Garret sent me a couple demos, and I kind of worked with those for a while. And so this was more of a collective effort from the band. And then once we went into the production phase of this song, the song started to get a heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
And this is like one of our groovier songs, if that could be a thing in black metal. It's
Well,
really
yeah,
not,
there's
but-
there's a lot of open areas that,
Yeah, it's-
like you're saying, it felt naked, and we all had
Yeah.
to sort of find out ways to fill it. Like I know that with drums, I had to come up with stuff that I had not done before to make the song feel a little more full. And
Yeah, it's
Then-
definitely a chuggy song, and like I think
Yeah.
Wes and I really connected on this one in terms of just like making it a hard hitting slapper of a riff song.
yeah, but then it ends like so pretty.
Yeah,
like this.
it kind of begins and ends with these bookends. This one, the lyrics. This was also co-written by Garret and myself, but the parts that I wrote, I mean, I kind of took it from. I wrote it while I was taking like a long walk at night in my old neighborhood, and noticing all the things that kind of you see when you take a walk at night that you don't see during the day, and ultimately, I think it's kind of about the benefits of temporary, quiet times in solitude.
And we're off and running.
Titan Arum.
So this is our third track that we're on right now. We're listening to Titan Arum. I guess I was planning on like stopping in between. You guys want to talk more about Nightfall? before
Yeah,
we
yeah,
go?
yeah.
Okay,
Let's
so-
pause that one.
Okay.
I think that Jordan has a lot behind Nightfall to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead,
so
man.
it kind of begins with that line about the sun. You know, it's kind of like initially the person is dreading the leaving of the sun and the coming of the moon, the coming of the night. They're dreading it, but then once it comes, they start to realize all this freedom and they find to express themselves and see the world in a whole new light that they didn't have the ability to do, you know, by daylight. Or in the when the eyes of the world are on you, you know, and by the time it's over, they're mourning the return of the day, you know. So that's kind of what that's about. That's kind of why those bookends on either side of it, they kind of tie it together.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man, like most of the time I'm thinking about the music of these songs. I'm not really thinking about the depth of meaning or the lyrics even at all. I actually didn't know the lyrics to this album until like when I was typing them into DistroKid, you know, which was like a month ago. So, I mean, I knew some of what they were about, but a lot of them were enshrouded in mystery because Jordan was sort of protective about some of the things he was singing. And then I think you were also changing things sometimes too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that right?
I hate.
You didn't want to
finite-
commit until it was time to commit.
Yeah, once I send that in, it's done.
Yeah.
Nothing can change, you know. But I knew obviously once it's recorded, it's done. So, but yeah, I'll sit and meddle with phrasing and stuff like that as long as I possibly can. Yeah.
Word. And I was just really quick. I'll play. I just because I'm kind of curious if anybody's listening right now what the guitar sounds like. But I'll play the one of the clean guitar parts to Nightfall right now. Just kind of do that. Oh wait, what's my next chord? Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Yeah. Okay. So I haven't played this in so long. Then it goes like this. That's pretty much the chord progression on those bookends. And then the magical thing that I'm going to miss is being able to play that live with Garret on keys.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna
It'll
be
just have to
real
be-
sad the first time.
That's
Just
a whole thing. And we spent so much time with you and Garret playing the ending of that song. How many hours spent just
A lot,
playing
man.
the end of that song?
A lot
It's
of
so
hours.
sick though.
Heck yeah. Cool. Ben just threw up a guitar and some horns, so must be sounding good. Would you guys care to move on to Titan Arum?
Let's do it. Do
okay,
it.
so the next track, this was our single that was out in September, all month, and then but yeah, this is Titan Arum. I wrote this song. I really just wanted to play something extremely fast and very black metal. That's honestly like what I was feeling on this one in terms of like writing for the music. I'm gonna go ahead and just play it. Here we go. So I just wanted to play something really fast.
Well, all of our songs are so long that we threw a real short one in the mix
Yeah.
just to break it up.
I just wanted to play a banger, you know? Like, if you want to see a band play, like, what do you want to see in the first 30 seconds? If you play Nightfall, everyone's going to turn around and walk away, you know? So,
Blast Beats naturally is
Blast
what I gave
Beats
them.
is... And Wes can play pretty much anything that I write, so...
Well, thanks.
That makes writing stuff like this really fun, so...
Yeah. Well, I like it too because when I'm sitting there by myself practicing, I'm like, it's hard to challenge myself, but then when you write stuff and send me demos and whatnot, that's when it challenges me to play new stuff.
Good, man. I mean, yeah, it's been super fun making music with you. I'm just gonna say straight up, this part of the song was inspired by this early '90s Christian black metal band called Horde.
Oh my
They have
god.
a riff that's very similar to this. Your dad's probably knows about them.
Yeah.
But Horde is a one-man Australian black metal band. This guy recorded this demo by himself, and it came out in like 1994. And it sounds like authentic black metal, but like the all of the song titles and lyrics are Christian, so it's like invert the inverted.
Unblack.
It's unblack metal, yeah. It's like invert the inverted cross, and there's another song on that record called Release and Clothe the Dying Virgin. It's like it's like a virgin sacrifice is taking place, so he's like
That's the opposite.
release and clothe the dying virgin. It's like pretty intense song lyrics, you know, or song titles. And there's videos that you can watch. Fascinating band. And the drummer is the lead vocalist too. So he's
that's
literally
cool.
playing brass, and he's wearing a cloak, and he's singing all the songs, you know.
That's crazy.
And then he just has like two, guitar and a bass player. I think that's it.
That's so impressive.
If you've never checked out Horde before, HORDE.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, your dad jumped in. So.
I was about to say, I think I saw
Yes,
his name.
he says invert the inverted cross. Hell yeah, amen. Can I get a hell yeah, brother?
Oh, heck yeah. Sean's in there, too.
Okay, Sean's listening. Heck yeah, Sean. Sean played guitar with us for about a year. And then, I guess before the pandemic, he just had a lot of touring stuff going on, so we kind of mutually agreed to kind of step away. But Sean is an amazing dude, an amazing guitar player, super talented, and, maybe at some point we'll work with him again, We shall see. Anybody else want to say anything about Titan?
I think the end of that song gets me every time. When we played our show, every time in practice, the end of that song, just like it has that little break, and then it just goes so hard, and the riff and everything playing together. Like a lot of what we do is more atmospheric, and it's like everything has different layers, but then the end of that song, everything is just playing all together, and it just like punches you in the face over and over.
Shall I play the riff,
Do
gentlemen?
it.
That part's not in there.
Yeah,
There you go.
Ending that song on a pinch harmonic is basically the greatest thing.
It's super fun. Yeah, I think that guitar part for all the prog nerds out there, that it's in like 7/8. I think in 7/8 it just naturally happens. If anybody listens to my old band Muir, we have a song on that album called Weira, and that most of that song is in 7/8, and it's sort of like a natural occurring pattern that shows up in all of my, like, you know, music that I write and how I think about rhythmic patterns and stuff. It's just one of those things that showed up again. So
yeah, Ben wants to know what Titan Arum means. Jordan, go ahead and explain.
Okay.
I might have to take a little leak.
Do it. Jordan can talk about the Titan Arum for hours.
I'll be back.
This will never get old.
So I knew that I wanted this song to be about a badass plant. That's all I knew. And I mean, I knew why. But anyway, I was looking up plants and reading about carnivorous plants and all that, and I came across the Titan Arum, which I'd heard about before but had kind of forgotten. And it's basically the most incredible. It's the largest inflorescence in the world. Grows only in Sumatra on limestone. And it's basically a plant that every year that it works very hard to produce a plant, more often than not, it just sends up a stalk, gathers some sunlight, and then dies and goes back into the ground. But every so often, I think about every 7 years or so typically, it comes up in flowers. And when it does, it's this massive red flower that reeks of rotting flesh and attracts local carrion creatures, as I phrase it, beetles and whatnot that would be attracted to rotting meat to come in and lay their eggs there, and then also go and spread its seeds everywhere. So that's how it reproduces. This song is simply just about marveling at nature and looking specifically at just holding one little tiny detail of it under a microscope and just kind of being in awe of that. It touches a little bit on like deforestation and like what we're doing to the rainforest and such, but yeah, that's what.
Our camera went down.
Uh-oh.
I was about to say it looks weird, but I don't know if they can still hear us.
What?
Jesse's in there asking the literal definition of Titan Arum.
Amorphophallus titanum.
It looks like
In other words, a giant phallus is what that means.
Amorphophallus titanum.
I'm gonna try to fix that camera really fast. I'm probably not gonna be able to, but let me try really quick.
Are we down?
Yeah, the GoPro went down. I gotta figure out what's going on with that. So,
but if they can still hear us, Jordan can keep talking about the Titan Arum.
I've never gotten to see one. I think Trevor, who might be listening over at Gardens of Babylon, supposedly has like grown them in his garage. I haven't had a chance to come see them yet, but they had one at the Atlanta Botanical Garden that blooms sometimes, and when it does, it's like a big event they promote around the city, and people come and watch it bloom. I would love to see that sometime.
There was some movie that I watched recently. I don't know what it was. It was some comedy. Probably had Adam Sandler in it, but that's like 90% of comedies available on Netflix. But
yeah,
it was some movie where everything was going wrong for this guy, one of those classic types of comedies. But part of it was, oh wait, no, I'm an idiot. It was Dennis the Menace. I was watching Dennis the Menace. And Mr. Wilson has this plant in his backyard that he's been spending like 40 something years raising this plant just for it to bloom for like a couple seconds and then die again.
That's right.
And Dennis ruins it by destroying the table of snacks, and everyone's like, oh, the snacks. And then they look back and the flower's dead. And he's like so upset that he missed it. Anyway, so moral of that is that I was watching Dennis the Menace like last week.
That's good.
It's still a great movie.
I'm glad you did that.
Definitely did not have Adam Sandler in it. That part was very wrong.
That a lot of that song even just goes into describing like that specific ecosystem there in Sumatra, which is a place I really, really want to find a way for us to tour there and play a show in Sumatra.
We can play a show anywhere we want. My drums are pretty loud.
Yeah. Yeah, we can just set up in the jungle.
I'll do that.
Yeah, that would be counterproductive. But it would be fun.
Well, I'm going to play another song.
Yeah. Yeah, please stop me.
Let's play Tongueless. You guys talk about Tongueless.
Yeah, do Tongueless.
So this one, I kind of directly am talking about grief, and kind of was inspired by the words of our friend Sarah, who we kind of released the record for. In a lot of ways, I was kind of inspired by some words that her mom wrote about what her grieving process was like. And kind of ran from there, you know.
I hope they're watching.
Tongueless, she scatters hyacinth flowers, violet of sundown. That's all about like Victorian flower language, which is something I think is really cool. Back in those days when there were so many rules in society about what you could and couldn't say out loud in public and what you could and couldn't communicate, especially as a woman, they found ways to subliminally communicate their true emotions about a situation by assembling certain flowers together and giving it as a gift. And it was a way of saying, well, here's what I'm saying, here's what I actually feel. And violet hyacinths are like the symbol of grief.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But Tongueless, I just think it wraps up the idea of kind of not being able to really explain to others what it feels like. Like, I can't imagine what it's like for her mom, you know.
Yeah.
I know what it's like for us or close friends. I don't know what I can't even imagine. So that's what that's about. It's just kind of that kind of grief that you can't explain, you know.
Also, unrelated but fun fact, my buddy Gage from To Speak of Wolves was going to do guest vocals on this track, but he had something come up last minute, so I ended up doing it myself.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
And it's the only time I've ever done that. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but it turned out pretty cool. And then my wife does guest vocals later on in the song as well. But this next part right here, this super heavy, blasty part, is me doing the low screams and then Jordan doing the high screams. So that's right here.
We did that so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, just go, do it now.
It took like 4 minutes.
I remember watching you record your lows, and I was like, dude, do it louder. I was just like, is that all you got? I was like, I'm wanting more.
I'd never done it. I was on my way
loudness.
to Austin's place from the office, and I was just in my car growling while I was driving. Like, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to do it. But either way, I think it turned out pretty cool, though. You did tell me to do it louder. I did it as loud as I could.
Did I really say that?
Yeah, this last part right here, I went so loud.
Yeah, that sounds brutal. And I'm very proud of my newfound skill in rescuing a camera from going
Yes.
down.
Look at that.
In the demo version of this, we have our previous rhythm guitarist, Thaddeus Sparkman, doing some vocals on there as well.
Yeah.
Which-
Thaddeus did vocals on this?
On the demo. The demo that's on Spotify, that old...
We currently have some demos up. But I don't know. Are we going to take those down?
I think maybe, just
Probably,
because
yeah.
I just want people to hear the versions on the record first.
Yeah, we want to be promoting like
Someday
the new
we'll put
stuff.
those out for Record Store Day on like a 7-inch.
Jess is asking a question, but we should wait till the song is over and pause it to
Okay.
answer it, because she's got a long question.
Oh. I'm trying to get her to just join the band.
Join the band. I mean,
Yeah.
Her parts
Why
made
not?
these songs, this one and Waxing Crescent, so cool.
That Austin was like, because I originally did these parts all falsetto and just didn't feel like it was quite what I wanted it to be, and then I was like, hey, what if we had a girl? And he's like, oh, man, I've been wanting to say that for so long. Are you down? And then he had all these vocalists in mind, and I was like, my sister-in-law could crush this, and she did.
She did.
Yeah.
Also, her part in this song was pretty on a whim. Like, she came in to do
Oh,
Waxing
yeah. She
Crescent,
had
and
no
then we were about
practice.
to leave, and Austin was like, hey, why don't you put you in the end of Tongueless too?
Yeah.
So then she did that, and then we thought we were done, and I was like, wait a second, put her singing high, Jordan singing low, and Jordan screaming like a crazy person, all at the same time, and Austin was like, we could try it.
Yeah.
And then we did it, and it was
pretty well.
so cool.
Dude, your wife has a beautiful voice, man.
Yeah.
And we should definitely feature her more. And honestly, I used to play with Sarah, our friend that we mentioned earlier that died from cancer. I used to play worship music with her at church at the Anchor.
Yeah.
And her voice was really bright and soft like that.
Yeah.
Totally clean, crystal clean and beautiful. And like Jesse's voice reminds me of Sarah's voice.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like,
Her part's coming right here.
yeah. We'll just listen to that.
That's so good. That's my favorite ending to any song on this
Yeah,
record.
Austin, the way that he mixed that part, I'll play that guitar part for you guys in a second. It's one contribution that I'm proud of in that song, even though like Garret will write the chords, but they're sort of like regular chords. But then when I get the chords, I'm like, let's add some 9s, let's add some 11s to these chords. you know?
It was a pretty good. You guys had pretty good teamwork about that though. Like he brought a really good structure to the table, and then you went through and basically ruined it in a good way. You know what I mean?
It is wild how different this is from the original demo. That's the most change that any song has seen, I think.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so I'll play that guitar part, and then we can go to Jesse's question. Then I want to do something else to really shake things up on this podcast, on this freaking stream. You're not even ready for it.
Yeah,
but it's a surprise that's about to happen.
We're gonna play Twister.
You actually might know what it is, but okay. So,
I don't.
so the chords for the ending of Tongueless are like A minor, and then it goes to C, and then E minor, and then it goes to D major. So you could play that like, you know, real normal like that if you want, but I love these like 9 chords. That's the sound that I use when we practice as a band. So that's
but
kinda,
on the record though, do you have an acoustic guitar playing it?
yeah,
with
we
you?
doubled it with an acoustic. Also Austin's idea.
That was such
that
a
was
good
amazing.
idea.
Yeah, so you get the pick attack.
I thought that was just an amazing guitar tone that you had found, and then I commented that one day, and then you were like, "No, I was playing an acoustic and then playing the electric on top of it."
Yeah, we stacked it
pretty
together.
cool.
It's the old. I used this actually to. I'm using an old Digitech 2101, which there was like a period of time like when I first joined the band where like I had no good equipment. This is like from 1994. I could talk about this one unit right here for like an hour, but I'm not going to do that. But it's called a GSP 2101, and I use that for my clean guitar sounds, and I will use that for my clean guitar like probably forever, at least in this band, because it's so unique and creepy. But for the distorted sounds, I've been using this Line 6 Helix Stomp. Anyway, we're going really into nerd zone right now, which I don't want to do that much, but
we could answer Jesse's question. She says,
Let's go to that.
I want to know what each of you bring to the table in the band aside from the instruments. What are your key roles and strengths? I'll answer for everyone and say that Drew has strength in his legs, and Jordan is all abs, and I've got the biceps.
That's factual. Yeah.
Jordan's got the biceps.
I have the biceps, obviously.
Oh,
Have you
okay.
seen me?
Yeah.
Jordan's got the abs.
Got some pythons.
Yeah. Anyway, no, the real answer to that question, I think, I don't know. We kind of all do everything. Jordan mainly is doing the. Why don't you just tell him what you do?
I feel like we should answer for each other.
Okay, Jordan does more like the what's the word I'm looking for? Not like kind of the visual, the sort of artistic, like aesthetic side of everything. All the themes, everything from like the album cover and the lyrics and the way that we portray ourselves. All of that is Jordan keeping it all in theme so that our social media and our fonts and everything that we do that you see all lines up with the lyrics and makes sense. It's not like we have all these real lyrics and then we're like posting cartoons and memes and stuff, like everything is staying in line with each other. So I think that is a lot of what you bring to the table, making sure that we're not all over the place.
Yeah, I would say like Jordan definitely he handles like the poetry and the beauty of the band. Because to me, black metal music is beautiful. It's an expression of the soul, and it's the dark side that we all have, right? And but when you express that and you release that, to me, it's a beautiful thing, right? And I like the black metal genre because there's so much harmony and melody and the aggressive vocals and drums and things like that. So you kind of get a little bit of everything good. But yeah, Jordan definitely handles the poetry and the beauty and the vision for like what the band should look like, I guess, like in terms of the visuals. All of the visuals for the album were done by Jordan.
Yeah, all the photos that we took. We just did a photo shoot recently that we haven't used any of the photos yet. Well, maybe a couple of them, but that was all Jordan's ideas for all that, and he is basically the mastermind behind what we look like.
So we did a photo shoot with a model, and all of that was orchestrated by Jordan and then Hannah Hall, who Jordan and Hannah work at Retrograde Coffee together. And
we did, yeah.
She's not there anymore, but she's super nice.
Because she's done well enough with photography, she's doing that full time now.
She's killing it. She's killing it. So Hannah Hall, let her.
She shot our concert too.
Yeah. There's some live concert photos of us that you can see that she did, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
So she's great. But yeah, she shot the album cover. Does you guys want to share the name of the model? Can we say who that is on our album cover?
Yeah, of course. She's posted a whole bunch of stuff about it.
Yeah, her name is Sydney. What's Sydney's last name?
I can't even remember. She made a pretty awesome behind the scenes video of our photo shoot for the album cover. She had it up on YouTube the day after we did the shoot.
Sydney is a Nashville-based model, and she is a very interesting looking lady, and she's very beautiful. And
she's the Sidster on Instagram.
The Sidster, yeah. And her photos, if you go through they look like they should be in Vogue or like some.
I think they have been
top level modeling thing. Anyway, she's very beautiful, very awesome, and she let us, stuff plants in her mouth, and do all kinds of weird shit stuff.
She did.
She was very kind to be a part of our vision because, like, it's like, hey, do you want to be on our album cover? We're going to make you look like a demon, and we're going to shove a bunch of plants in your mouth that you're not going to like.
She was like, yeah, sure.
And she was like, yeah, that's cool.
I remember she was like, is it about Satan? And I was like, no. She's like, good, my mom's Christian.
My mom's a Christian.
No, she did great, though.
Oh, someone's here, and they said her name is Sydney Tucker. Thank you, Ben.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, Sydney was absolutely fantastic to work with for that album cover, and we shot it over at Weld. There's basically like a room that's all white that you go into, and you can take videos and photos in, and it's kind of a weird environment to be in. It's sort of like a blank canvas. I don't know, kind of feels like heaven. It's like nothing's there.
It was super cool.
Which that's not really what heaven is, but
We definitely did a little bit of goofing around
It's like
in
heaven.
that room.
Nothing's there.
it's like heaven. It's just white and you know,
Empty.
God's there. You can't really see him, but it's just perfectly white, and you don't do anything. That's what heaven is.
And there's
Drink
no
a lot
corners
of
on the
LaCroix
walls.
and listen to Cigaros.
Oh yeah,
That's what we literally did.
That'd be-
Shout out to Retrograde Coffee and for Drew Creal providing us unlimited iced coffees that day. My face personally.
I provided you.
Yeah. Well, I paid you back for
You
it.
brought them all.
You brought a cooler full of Flash Brew iced coffees. I had so many of them during that shoot. I could feel my face skin tingling.
Oh, dude, that's how I usually roll.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's when I know I'm actually awake. Is when I've had that much coffee.
Yeah, I was trying to cut it down with some LaCroix, but I felt like my face was about to fall off my body.
I feel alive again.
Oh, we veered away from each other's strengths. We've praised Jordan long enough. Jordan, bestow some praise on one of us.
I think that Wes, in addition to being an excellent drummer, specifically is... some of what you said about me was interesting because I find that you are the one who keeps us grounded in some ways. I find that he can be the one who can hear a song that's maybe still partially done, and maybe there's 3.5 minutes, and my inclination is, well, we better add 3.5 more minutes, and he's like, but do we need 3.5 more minutes? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no, and he's the one who reminds us, like, it's about the music being good and being complete. It's not about it just being as airy and esoteric as possible. Does that make sense? Not at all times, anyway. I think that that's really useful when it comes to writing.
Yeah, I guess like to me, like Wes, you know, he comes up with all of his own drum parts, but he's also able to play. Like if I program something that's like impossible to play, he's like figures it out and he's ready to play it at the next practice. So he's like our backbone of the band. He's like our band dad because he is a real dad, and he has a hat that says dad.
It's so that you guys don't forget.
Are you wearing your dad hat? Oh,
Yeah,
he's
I
wearing his
am.
dad hat.
So Wes definitely keeps people grounded in this band. I'm more of like the, I don't know, I'm the uptight guy, I guess. I'm like the guy that.
Well, you're the one who's
that,
actually like done it on a professional level much more than we have. You know,
Yeah,
so
I
like
guess
it's funny. You each keep saying, like you said, he's the band dad.
I'm the
I
band
find
dad.
you to
You're
be
the
the
band
I,
dad.
I'm the real
I
band
really
dad.
do. Yeah, I mean, you're the one who set this whole thing up.
I'm the
today.
band mom.
No,
like-
you're the band stepdad.
Oh, great.
Oh yeah.
Stepdad.
Thanks.
So
Anyway, I think that Drew is the one who like brings the professionalism to the table and like holds us all like to a certain standard that
Yeah.
is very important to have that kind of like accountability. Like when I think about how much this means to me, that's one thing. But when I think like, okay, I need to give this my all because we have Drew in the band, and like, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that I could
like-
say the same thing when you
like-
just say you can program some sort of drums that sound impossible, and then I know them by the next practice. I know that I have to know them by the next practice because you're gonna keep us accountable.
I don't know you guys felt
but in a way that's completely that I very much appreciate and
Yeah, me too.
and need in terms in order for this to grow. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
That's very nice of you guys to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like my whole philosophy is if you're gonna do something, you're just like you're either not gonna do it or you're gonna do it. So if you're gonna put an album out, like let's do everything we need to put an album out and promote it and like make sure it's recorded really, really well and stuff like that. So I've just been in a lot. I personally, I've done a lot of things in my life really half-assed and really like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So with this band, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to like, and I hold everybody else to that standard. And I don't know, that might be why there's only 3 of us here right now. But,
I
just-
appreciate it personally. I
just won't-
think you don't give us room to slack off, and we don't need to be slacking off, and we make really great songs, in my opinion, because we're held to that standard. And
I just don't kind of want to be in a band. I don't kind of want to put an album out. And I don't want it to be something that's just almost like we're almost doing it. I want to 100% do everything. So that's just my philosophy. And
this live stream, for example, look at all this. We got microphones. It's extremely professional because you spent the past 2.5 days figuring out how to do all this. That's crazy. Like that's an example right there of having high standards and then achieving them.
Well, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I kind of know how they should sound. So I'm like, what do I have to do to pull this off? You know?
Well, you did it.
And I had a couple friends let me borrow mics, and I don't really have any nice cameras right now, so I just use my phone and my GoPro. But
phones are
I had to buy like
great now.
This little. There's all of this talk out there with podcasting about, God dang it, man, camera went down. There's all of this talk out there about you having to have this thing called a cloud lifter and stuff to do your podcast, but I found that you can just use like a regular mixer to crank the gain on all these mics, and it was like it was a $99 thing versus like a $400 thing. Ooh. So I just bought this little $99 Yamaha mixer.
Nice.
So I think what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna try to get the GoPro back up again, and we'll play the song Waxing Crescent.
Yes.
And I'll actually talk about it afterwards, but while it's playing, I'm going to fix the camera, and then Jordan and Wes, you guys can talk about the song first.
Cool. Okay. This is 90% of these lyrics are actually just me reciting an old poem by one of my favorite poets, Amy Lowell, called The Crescent Moon. I read that thing and felt like it just fit to this music, and it's old public domain, so it's all good. And afterwards I kind of added a few lines at the end that were just kind of like my own interpretation of that, but want to make sure that was known.
Yeah.
And I imagine I would like to do more of that. I imagine maybe with each record have like one song that's just basically an old poem written by somebody else, set to our music.
I think it fits really well with this, and the fact that it's this old poem, and then Garrett's keys part is kind of like
it's like a lullaby, and that goes with the message. I mean, that goes with the perspective that this poem is written from is like a little boy in his crib looking at the moon, which is awesome but creepy. This part right here I'm just obsessed with.
Yeah, the keys right there are so nice.
Garret made this thing. I mean, Drew wrote this song, but this is one of the best examples of like those two minds meshing like really well, I think. I miss Garret. Happy birthday.
I hope you're watching this, Garret. Plus, the song changes tempo 3 times at least. Like right now, it's like 10 or so BPM faster than when it started. This is my favorite one, I think.
I think this is my favorite song on the album as well.
This part.
This guitar bit right here was Austin's idea,
Yeah,
I think.
That's Austin. I believe that's Austin playing that.
Yeah. Definitely go and look up this poem and read it while you listen to this.
Oh. Then we just go full black metal blast beats. It's awesome.
This is where I found a way to fit all the rest of the poem into a very small amount of space.
Never use a GoPro for live streaming. Just gonna go ahead and just say that right now. I think it might be because it was plugged in to a power source, but anyway.
This was a good example, too, of us having to make a song feel a little more full and groovy. This part originally was just really like fast blasts and fast picking, and then we added this part that has a little more like rhythm.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a ballad. I wanted to make a somber ballad. And, like, my vision for the song... I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. My vision for the song was for the black metal vocals to come in while the band is still playing a 6/8 groove, like a slow groove that really, like... The 6/8 time signature is just perfect in black metal, and I wanted to experience that with this band, you know? And I wanted there to be space in the music for there to be like poetry and things to think about. So it's kind of interesting that Jordan selected a poem for the lyrics for this song. So, but yeah, I think harmonically I wanted to just kind of stick with one tonal center, and so I picked B harmonic minor, and there's some other like harmonic devices that I use in the song, but it's really just one chord progression in B harmonic minor throughout the song, and then we just sort of, when I wrote it, I was just doing some classical improvisation over that chord progression.
And I know for my parts too, since the song's like about a phase of the moon, I wrote my parts to sound like the phases of the moon going. Personally, I don't know if everyone else thought of it that way, but I did my parts that way, where they progressed and they got more and more full, and then they started to go down.
I'm going to turn it up on this next part.
That's awesome.
This is Jess again.
It's my favorite part of the song. Probably the album too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
awesome.
So that's Waxing Croissant. Just listen to. That's our band joke. About this song. Yeah, so really quick, I just wanted to say thank you to anyone that purchased the album on Bandcamp.
Yeah, for real.
Because personally, like, what I'd like to do is do more of these streams and get some money back from all the money I spent on this. But I'm just kidding. No, I really want us to have a PA so we can start rehearsing these songs the way that they're supposed to be heard on the album. So that's something that I think we're going to try to buy as a band. And maybe even consider getting this recording pressed to vinyl. It's very expensive to do that.
Yeah.
But I think it would be fun to do that in the future sometime.
Yeah, it's hard without being able to play shows to sell records and do stuff like that, because you're not there to give it to someone. They have to go and do it all themselves, and they don't like to do that.
Yeah, we currently can't really play a show. I mean, what I'd like to do next is do a live stream of us actually playing some songs for you guys, but that's extremely complicated. And so we're going to be working on that too. So it would be very helpful if you could purchase an album. You can name your price. You can pay the $12 minimum fee for the album, or you could pay us more than that if you want. We also have a PayPal. It's on the stream right now. Is it Threnodianband@gmail.com?
Yeah.
That's our PayPal. If you want to send us a couple bucks on there, if everybody sent like $1, we could have enough money to do a lot of awesome things. But yeah, I'm not trying to get rich off black metal by any stretch of the imagination, but there's just things that we want to do. We want to be able to do live streams and play for people.
Yeah.
Before the obviously we will play when shows are a thing again, but I don't think it's a good move to try to put on a show right now. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
So please donate if you can. Threnodian.bandcamp.com. You can purchase the album there. You can send us $1 million on there if you want. You can buy us a van.
Please
donate us a band van. You could donate a PA to us if you have one that's just sitting around.
Yeah.
because we haven't practiced in a while. We need to start practicing
For
again.
real, it's been a long time.
And also, anybody that's listening right now, we're going to be recruiting a bass player for this band. We've also talked a little bit about recruiting another guitar player. We've also talked about recruiting a keyboard player. So if you play any of those instruments and you like this kind of music, you can send us an email at threnodianband@gmail.com if you're interested in playing with us. I've got a couple people that I'm going to be talking to soon. Actually today after this stream, I'm going to talk to a couple guys about playing in our band. So we might do that. We also might just like hire people, professional musicians to play with us. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We live in Nashville, and I know tons of guys that play like country music that also love metal that want to play with us. But I'm really looking for someone who embodies the spirit of black metal music and awesome musicianship and haunted keyboards, things like that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, my dad's in the chat. He says, how important is it for people to check out the lyrics? Since streaming doesn't include lyric sheets, do you plan to do lyric videos? I would love to do lyric videos. It's a feat that I do not personally know how to make them, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think that listening to the album with the lyrics going, or listening to the albums while reading the lyrics, is the best way to listen to metal music or black metal.
Yeah, it's a totally different experience,
especially this album, because you won't understand what Jordan is singing or screaming most of the time. But if you read the lyrics, there's a whole other level of meaning that comes out to the songs.
Yeah.
So of course you can just put the song on and jam out in your car. It's still fun to listen to, but you're not going to really get it until you read the lyrics. You can probably Google the lyrics. Honestly,
yeah, they're online.
They're up on Google. They're on Bandcamp, so I think even when you download the album from Bandcamp, it comes with lyrics. You can open the lyrics up just directly on the web browser and read them and listen to them if you want to. But yeah, lyrics are super important. That was great. Thank you for posting that question. Shall we continue?
Yeah, do it.
We've been at this for like an hour and 15, dudes. Scorched Earth. Start it over, you know. Since this song is called Scorched Earth, I'm gonna actually eat some chips right now that are really hot. So these are haunted ghost pepper chips. Check it out. Pocky. It's the same company that does the One Chip Challenge.
I just now learned that Jordan is on Encyclopedia Metallum.
What is that?
Encyclopedia.
It's like Wikipedia, but for metal music. And someone's added you in here and our album.
Well, I've
Yesterday.
never even heard of that.
They added you yesterday.
Damn, that's cool.
Heck
Thank
yeah.
you, person.
That's so awesome.
You guys want to try a host pepper chip?
I don't.
I don't want to do that.
Just because I like my mouth to be able to taste things and feel good.
Come on, dude.
All right, one. I'm gonna hate myself for this. He's like, yeah, you will.
The heat is cranked all the way to max. Look, dude, look on the back of the bed.
It is.
It literally
set up.
It literally tells
Level
you.
freaking hot.
Oh, this is my favorite line.
Play in the hand.
Are we any more than dust? Yeah.
I would say that human beings are the most moldable and adaptable species in any dimension. That's my statement.
It's a beautiful statement.
You said we're not supposed to swear on this, and you also just gave me this chip. So what do you expect of me?
You just gotta bear it, dude. Pass those back.
I'm trying
Trying to get lit. So yeah, freaking hot is what the heat level's cranked up to. So we are definitely scorching the earth right now.
I wanted to see how red Jordan's face got before I decided if I wanted one, and I've decided I don't want one.
I'm just uttering expletives off camera.
grab another beer. Grab an icy cool beer. There's ice cubes in there too. You can put that in your mouth.
I want us to get on that show, Hot Ones.
It would be an honor.
There's nothing quite like the episode with Jessica Alba, let me tell you.
I've not seen that.
Oh my
Have to check
God.
that out.
That's why I brought you hot cheese popcorn, Drew, because I knew that you'd like to eat hot, crunchy stuff. There's 2
Check those
full
out
bags
next.
of it right there.
So there's this thing that's called the one chip challenge, and it's literally like an individually wrapped.
Yeah,
chip.
I've already lost that challenge.
It's black. It's a black chip. I don't think you can really do black metal vocals until you do the one chip challenge, dude.
Yeah, you're a phony.
But I did it. There's a
You're
whole
a
record
phony.
of it.
You did it?
No, I mean, I did the... Never
You
mind.
did black. Okay,
Whatever.
I'm dumb. Went right over my head.
I beat you.
No,
I
I
will
really
not
love.
beat this
I
chip.
really love spicy foods. But there's this thing called the one chip challenge. Nice, dude.
That's a really good crunch.
Packed a big crunch. I collect like hot sauces and stuff, and I order sauces from this site. It's called Mo Hata Mo Betta, and they just have the dopest sauces ever.
I'm just continuing to punish myself right now. My mouth does feel like the forest's felt.
I'm gloriously comfortable not eating those.
They're so good.
It's not a pain that lasts as long as I thought it would. It's okay. Time for beer number 2.
There's a bottle opener on the bag. So what's this song about? Does anybody want to talk about that?
As far as I know, it's about, or at least inspired by, the Gatlinburg fires, right?
Hey, can you grab me another one of these cold frosty boys? You want to pause it at the end and then I'll talk about it right now? And that's a wrap on that one. So Jordan is digging his beer out, but this song "Scorched Earth" is about this forest fire that was set in the Gatlinburg area. Gatlinburg, Tennessee, is a tourist area of the United States, and a lot of families go there to vacation. There's also a lot of impoverished people that live there. But it's a beautiful part of our country, and I think that fire was actually. And didn't they get arson on that fire?
Yeah,
didn't
it
they?
was human. It was man-made. Yeah.
Someone started the fire. Yeah, very sad.
So I my sister lives out in that area, and this was a case where Garret had written the song, a demo of it, and named it, and he was very committed to the title because he thought the title matched the sound. So I actually, and he wrote some of the lyrics too, but I actually took, I had to make the lyrics fit the title, which was a different challenge for me, but it was cool. When I was out visiting my sister, I took a hike by myself up in the mountains, and I got to this certain point. It was really beautiful trees and everything, and then I got to this point where I reached this bald, and it was just black, stripped bare. You could see very far. It was me and just 2 bears that I ran into when I was up there. And I sat there for a long time and just kind of meditating, and took some photos and noticed that this beautiful contrast of just these blackened, burned trees and these new plants that were coming up around them that were bright green. So that line, cold trees, emerging emerald, that's what directly reference to that. So it's all about like guilt, regret, and consequences, and whether or not we can rise up after the fact, or if our collective guilt could be enough to destroy us, you know.
Me and Garret went to Gatlinburg quite a while after the fires happened for like a weekend. We got a cabin out there, and it was crazy that it had been a long time. It wasn't just like a couple days. It was like many, many, many months after, and you could still smell smoke
Oh yeah.
everywhere.
It's crazy.
And we went hiking, and there was like some trees weren't touched, and then other ones it was just a little stump of ashes in the ground, and it was kind of nuts to see that. And then the same thing with the houses. There'd be a house that was totally fine, and then a house right next to it that didn't even exist anymore, but it was just an empty lot at that point. And it was nuts. And that the smoke was still in the air months after the fact it definitely showed me how real that was. Like, you see it on the news and it sucks, but then you actually go there and it's crazy.
The people in California, man, they have fires like every year, it seems like, and just the amount of devastation that happens out there is crazy. And we had our little Tennessee fire. I'm not saying it wasn't nothing, but it was crazy to see how it impacts everybody. You know, there's a fire out there, and then you start hearing stories. And the craziest story that I heard was about these guys that I actually know from the music scene, the Summers brothers, Jared and Wesley Summers, I think are their names. I could be wrong. I feel like I've been messing their names up for years. I'm sorry, guys. But there's this crazy thing that happened, man. They were out there with their family when the fires happened, and they were leaving I don't know, I guess they woke up in the middle of the night or something, and there was the fire was going on. And basically they tried to escape, you know, and I think the brothers escaped on foot, but the mom and dad, they tried to escape into their vehicle, and then I think they got out of their vehicle. I don't really know all of the details of the story, but the two boys made it out of the forest fires with burns on their bodies. They're still visible to this day, you know, and both of their parents died in that fire, you know. And I remember seeing them at at the bars and stuff after the fires happened, and it was just so weird seeing those guys. I would be like, hey man, how you doing with everything? And just to look at someone's face that had been through that kind of tragedy, you know, losing both of their parents in a forest fire, that was crazy. And then looking at their arms and seeing like skin that was like melted away and then had been, you know, had to be surgically repaired by a doctor or something. Really intense, man. Like really intense stuff. And you can read about this story on Google. I think if you just search the Summers brothers, you can read about what happened. But every time you play Scorched Earth, that's what I think of. You know, I think of the Summers boys that escaped from that fire on foot, you know, and then they got separated from their parents in the heat of everything. And then, you know, come to find out their parents died, you know. Just crazy stuff, man. So, yeah. Anyway, Sean says that the production on that song really makes it sound awesome. So
Sean Conklin?
Yeah, I agree.
What's up, Sean?
Yeah, he's been here the whole time.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, I agree. I mean, and that's really Austin to thank on that one. And yeah, the song, it's to me the song sounds very medieval, which I actually like. Other guys in the band don't like that much, and
I think it ended up in a balanced place. There was a
so
point
too.
where I was like, this sounds like a straight up Game of Thrones track, but we dialed it back just enough. Taking some keys and changing the sounds was really enough to like, I love where it sits now.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely our most like power metal or symphonic metal song on the album. And
Circle Pits.
I don't think that's really our scene, and we probably won't write another song like that, to be completely honest. But the riffs are really cool. Everything moves in fourths and fifths, so it's like really. It starts off. And then the bass is playing like really low, like. You want to just do vocals?
Kidding, dude. My beer vocals?
Yeah.
You don't want to hear that. It'll be gurgly.
that's kind of how the song goes. Then it's got this. Then the best part goes to and then the mosh part. Need to practice. So yeah,
that song's fun.
That's how the riff goes.
Also the ending part that's in 7/8, and I remember how many times we got so messed up when we were trying to.
I tried to like make us not do that anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say.
We just played in 4, guys.
We spent so long trying to play it in 7/8 instead of just playing it in 4, and then every time we tried to play it in 4, it felt so awkward and weird. And then we'd go back to playing it in 7 again, and it felt right. And that was a good example of us being like, you know what? The song clearly wants to be played this way. Let's just give in and play it the way that the song wants.
Sean says that the Power Rangers riff specifically turned out sick.
Yeah.
Go Power Ranger.
That song definitely makes me feel like pillaging and being a Viking. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely makes me want to... Never mind.
No doubts about the Vikingness of that song.
You guys want to get on to our 7th and final song?
Yeah.
I guess I do.
Very ominous, very spooky.
Sean just commented and said getting the guitars, drums, and keys were so hard at the end. You're exactly right. It took forever.
Okay, here we go. This song is called Open Skies.
Yikes.
Stories whispered of a blood that washed clean. All horrors of her past and present. To make us pure again.
Cool. You guys want to talk about this one? Just enjoying listening to it?
This one's like...
This one's so heavy lyrically, it's hard to talk and listen to it
like
at the same time.
Absolutely the most personal, and it's not... I mean, I'm glad we have it. I'm glad we created it. It's painful every time that I even hear it.
It's hard
It's
to...
It's not a happy song.
It's hard. We always end our practice and end the show with it, and it's like
it's hard to play it multiple times,
way to
even to practice it multiple times, because I feel like emotionally drained every time. This directly addresses the death of a very close friend and someone who was practically my sister growing up. And
You want to say her name?
Sarah Cole, Sarah Elizabeth Cole. Anyway, this song, I mean, Garret and I wrote probably 80% of the lyrics, but he contributed a bit with his own kind of take on cancer and what he's experienced with it, and we talked about like specifically we got into discussions about treatments, and that's where that line, the alkaline solution, came from. So it's talking about like chemo, and it's just very, very visceral. Just walking through what cancer's like, what treatment's like, the hopes that you have for recovery that don't always happen. And ultimately, what that makes you wonder about God, if he has our back or not. That's the ultimate question of this song. I want it to be something that I want it to mean whatever the listener needs it to mean for them, but that's what it means for me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, like I was friends with a lot of people that loved Sarah and were really close to her. Like my barber for a long time was her best friend, April.
Yeah.
She cut my hair for like 3 years. And then her other friend, Emily, I was hanging out with a circle of people for a couple years, and Sarah was in that circle, and we went to the same church together. And I had no idea that I hadn't even met you guys, until after she died.
Yeah.
Really. She was either really sick. I think I met you guys right around the time she died, and she was really sick. And I remember a couple people telling me, like, oh, this guy Jordan, he's got a metal band, and he's looking for a guitar player or something like that. And I don't even think I knew that Thaddeus was in the band, but somebody
I think it was Jay Newman that introduced me to you.
It was Jay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that at all. Thank you, Jay.
You came in the shop one day, and he's like, "This guy shreds." Hang out.
That's
with him.
right, because he
Yeah.
worked at Retrograde too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had been in a lot of bands before, and I'm kind of cynical to the music industry, if I'm being completely honest. And people ask me to join their band all the time. I mean, I'm not trying to brag about myself or anything, but everybody wants me to play in their band. They don't want to offer anything. They don't want to offer any money for me to play on their music, or they don't offer anything really. And I was like, what kind of music is it? Because when somebody asks you to join their band, or that they want to play or make music with you, it's really hard to tell what that means. Do they want you to record guitar tracks for them? Do they want you to be their live guitar player, or do they want you to be a member of the band and have creative control and invest in the music in the band? And I'm really glad that it was what it is now. That it was people that are serious about metal music and about a certain sound and creating something. And as soon as I heard the first demo, it sounded like complete dog shit. It was completely awful. But I was like, these guys have got the right direction, that I want to go. And I was like, okay, this is people that I can work with, and it's good. It was good people and stuff like that. But I didn't even know that we both knew Sarah, or that we all knew Sarah at that time. So that was really interesting how all that happened. Anyway, I just blabbed forever. But you want to share what this song means to you?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, it's the same as Jordan, She was our babysitter forever, and then we moved here, and then she moved here, It's just,
Funny, yeah.
It's tough. It's just a tough song to listen to and to actually think about. It's easy to just listen to the music and be like, yeah, that's a fun song, but, actually playing it is pretty rough. And I don't even have to say the lyrics. Like, I couldn't imagine. The lyrics that Jordan wrote about it are so, like, moving and true, and I don't think that I could handle saying that over and over. So I commend you for your strength there. But yeah, other than that part of it, just about the mechanics of the song itself, most of that main guitar riff was written by Thaddeus.
And it's just a jam night.
Yeah, he just came over to my house, and we were just like, let's just jam something and see what happens. And he played that riff, and we were like, heck yeah. So then we just jammed it, and it turned into this real, like, sort of posty sounding just jam. Like, that's why it goes so slow and groovy, and it's so much different than everything else on
Yeah,
it.
Thaddeus is like a post-rock god.
Yeah.
He really is.
That riff is amazing. And then, like, the way that the song ends too, that we jammed that for like 15 minutes straight, that ending riff. We just kept playing it over and over and over and over, and then the song happened.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I cannot take any credit for that riff. It's all Thaddeus. and he wrote a great riff, man. And
Literally
I
just
get-
us jamming to his riff for however long.
I get
and
to
then-
play
It was so long. We just played the same thing over and over. We were so into it, and then we had to build the song around it. We were like,
then
we have to.
we
do
just
this.
kind of stopped finally, and we all just like were sitting there looking around like, what the heck? Like we just played that riff for like 45 minutes, and then and then we added the middle parts, but
Yeah,
that song was
I
something
came up
else.
with the lead, all of the lead guitar on that song.
Yeah.
Those ideas came from me, but
Which those really helped tie it in with the rest of the songs on the record, because without those, it wouldn't sound like the same band or the same record at all.
Definitely,
it was like
definitely.
suddenly like literally a post rock song.
Yeah,
Post metals.
I love that song. That song was my favorite one all the way up until we got the final version of Waxing Crescent Back.
Oh, you still like Waxing better, huh?
It's close though. It's really close. Like I really
Yeah.
like Waxing a lot.
First time I read the lyrics or the poem to Waxing Crescent and listened to the music, I cried. I was like, that is deep, man.
That song is something else. But then Open Skies for me is like such a close second
Well,
that
yeah,
it's a contender for my favorite.
The first time I actually read the lyrics, and because I had to like hold the space bar down for like every lyric of these songs. I had to do it like 3 times for each song because I kept messing up. But
When you were like publishing them online.
we're publishing them online, yeah, so that like there's supposed to be this function on Instagram where if you post one of our songs, the lyrics will like pop up or whatever. So I had to like type out all the lyrics and then hold the space bar down over when the song is playing, right? When Jordan screams his gobbledygook, I have to hold down the space bar and add meaning to each lyric. But when I actually was doing that, I cried then too, unexpectedly. I was like, holy shnikes, the song is really powerful, man.
It's rough. It's just so rough to get through it.
Yeah.
I remember that show, like we're playing a show and it's fun and everyone's all hype and whatever because the show's so fun. But then we ended it with that song and it's like the poison running through her veins line always gets me because like I play that song so solemnly. Like my parts are so like slow and drab like on purpose. But it just makes me feel it that much more. So as I'm playing it and hearing his lyrics, it's just that song is the heaviest for sure when it comes to the lyrics.
Yeah, the verse part of that song goes between 4/4 and 3/4 time. I know nobody cares about this stuff, but for nerds out there, it's
interesting still.
But that's what makes the song kind of have this interesting kind of sway to it. You could think of it as 7/4. So a lot of sevens. There's 7 songs on the album. And that time signature thing keeps coming up again and again, nerd stuff. But yeah, I love your drum parts on that, man. It really slap. They really slap. And my favorite thing about the album sonically are the toms, which sound like 100 basketballs hitting a gym floor at the same time. It literally sounds like basketballs in a gym when I listen to it. And I mean
there's
that.
there's some
talk about you gotta talk about Crash Some Tom stuff.
Oh yeah, the Crash Some Tom stuff. That's another Thad story. But no, the toms, especially in Waxing Crescent, there's some tom rolls that are really fast. Where I'm like, that does kind of sound like basketballs rolling around. I definitely pushed myself on this record because I personally like to play stuff that's just like fast and chaotic. And Open Skies was the hardest song for me to write drum parts to because it was
sit back in the groove, baby.
Yeah, because that song is obviously more just about the groove and the lyrics, and it's not about everyone showing off. Other songs we're all just we're just shredding and playing fast metal, but that song I had to be very deliberate about not overdoing it and making sure that all I'm doing is backing up the emotion, which was super tough for me because I'm not used to doing that. My usual is just to go hard the whole time. So I enjoy that song because it's so different than what I'm used to. But the Crash Some Tom stuff was at the end when we were jamming it with Thad that first night, and he was playing the ending riff, and we were talking like, what should the drums do? Because we don't want to just play blast beats. We don't want to play anything fast. Like, what can we do that's just so chill? And he was like, just do like something that's like, Crash Some Tom stuff. Crash Some Tom stuff. That's what Thad said. So when you listen to the song, it's literally going boom 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 boom, boom, boom.
That's
Which
right.
is
That's
me
right.
literally playing the words crash sometimes stuff.
Oh, you just ruined the song for me, dude. I'll never listen to it the same again.
So that's something that's fun, and that was always fun when we
Thad
played
did
with
this
him.
little like dance.
Yeah,
when
you
he-
know, it's
Oh my
sometimes stuff.
Yeah.
So when we played the show, that was fun because he was standing there playing bass, looking at me, mouthing the words "crash sometimes" stuff. It was just, it's fun.
He was getting sassy.
it was
with
the
huh?
comic relief we needed at that moment in
Yeah.
that song.
We needed something, but that
Honestly.
was fun. That's a fun
Yeah,
story.
amazing.
That's literally, I never thought that'd be the way that like a drum part would come along. Like I would literally just play a drum version of what someone just said out loud, and it worked. It sounded cool.
It's great. A lot of people are saying things. Open Skies was just a great way to emotionally decompress at the end of a practice. I think when you play something that emotional, you kind of just leave everything on the table in a sense. That's what Sean said. He's our former guitar player. Yeah,
You would know.
I agree. Yeah. And then Ben says, "Ooh, a waltz." Yeah, it is kind of a waltz. And then John Thompson says, "Sarah smiles." Yeah, man. I hope she does. You know.
Me and Jordan and my wife just did a song. Sarah Smiles is the charity that Sarah's parents and brother put on in her honor.
Oh wow! So it's a okay.
It's a it's a real thing.
Sarah's Smile of Illinois.
Oh, so
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So yeah,
Tell
they
us
go
about that.
around. They'll go like with her. She has 3 little boys. They'll go to like coffee shops around Aurora, Illinois, and they'll just sit at a coffee shop and the boys will go up and pay for people's orders and just tell them about Sarah and just sort of
that's cool.
spread her information and
Tell them about their mom.
yeah. So
That's the other thing that's weird is we're all originally from the same area.
That's right.
We're all from
Yeah.
the Tri-Cities, the greater Chicago area. I'm from St. Charles, and then these guys are from right down the road in Aurora. So
yeah,
another weird thing.
that is weird.
To me
I
is
forget
like
about that sometimes.
fate, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, so me and Jordan just did a cover. Me and Jordan with my wife, who is on this record as well, obviously. We covered a White Stripes song for a Sarah Smiles fundraising virtual concert event that's happening. So you can look up Sarah Smiles, Illinois on Facebook or wherever and find information
That's
on
cool.
that stuff.
Thanks for mentioning that, man.
Yeah.
If anybody else has any questions about the band or the album or anything you want to talk about, guitar things, live stream questions, how I put this together, I don't remember actually, so don't ask me about that.
I want a whole bunch of questions. I would, if I had it my way, we would have a whole mess of questions to answer. So
Yeah.
bring them on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look on my phone too because
I'll play the riff to the middle section of the song in Open Skies. It kind of breaks into this other sort of blast beat thing, and it's one of my favorite things to play. And to me, it's one of the most emotional things to play. So, that's what I play during that part. Except I play it like this. So it's just kind of like a classical kind of contrapuntal. I'm not saying that right. Counterpoint inspired thing with just different interval structures and things kind of moving. And I get a lot of my ideas, to be honest, from this band called Liturgy. Huge influence. Yeah. And Thaddeus Sparkman is the guy who got me into them like way back in 2014. And Hunter Hunt Hendricks is the name of the visionary behind
basically the guy.
that band. Actually a girl now. Female. Yeah. So she has been doing a lot of these very interesting live streams and sort of question and answer videos on YouTube. It's all stuff that talks about God, talks about sexuality. It's really, really interesting conversation. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out Hunter Hunt Hendricks on YouTube. I've been watching a bunch of her videos, and they're really fascinating. Of course, I don't agree with everything she says, but she's definitely got an interesting perspective and an interesting idea and about theology and God and stuff like that. But they have a record that came out recently. It's impossible to. I think it's called HQQ. So it's really weird, dude. It has a weird name,
crazy.
but all the liturgy records are great. And one thing that I would like to accomplish in this band is playing a show with liturgy at some point. You know, that would be a huge, meaningful experience for me.
Oh yeah, that's a good. What's
awesome.
everybody's dream artist to tour with?
Liturgy.
Liturgy for you?
Yeah.
You?
The thing though, my musical background is so much different than both of yours. Like for me, it'd be probably Every Time I Die. So that's totally different than what we do and what makes sense for us. But
It's not like
me
it's not like
personally,
that couldn't happen. I just don't know if a lot of their fans would bop to our stuff.
no. But that's not what I'm thinking. I'm
But
just
maybe
thinking.
they would, man.
I know that anytime that I listen to them the whole time, I'm thinking, man, I just want them to let me play drums with them for one song at one show.
that'd be dope.
And if I think that every time I hear them, then I think that's probably my ideal band to tour with. Or Slipknot.
I mean, I would be down with that.
There's
Sure.
some Slipknot drum influences on Waxing Crescent. That
Slipknot's one of the greatest heavy bands of all time.
yeah, Jay Weinberg has some parts on their new album that just came out like last year, We Are Not Your Kind.
Insane drummer.
I love
Absolutely
it. It's so good.
Jay's unbelievable. He's an inspiration for
Yeah,
sure.
he's so good. And there's a part in Waxing Crescent in the middle section where we're just going to kind of jamming the same riff and then changing it up every like so often.
develops in different ways and stuff.
And the transitional drum fills that I'm playing a few of those times are inspired by some of Jay's fills on the new Slipknot album because they just go so hard. He's so good. So that would be cool too.
Somebody
Flip
just asked, will this video be archived or will you be able to watch it later? You will be able to watch this later. It will probably take like 30 minutes or something to process because it's so long, but then you can watch it again on YouTube. So
Cool.
Yep.
I want to tour with Godspeed Black Emperor so bad.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Oh man.
Or
Like I
Fleshed Out
love
Apocalypse
I
would be
really
cool.
love like I prefer shows where the bill isn't all like the same genre.
Yeah.
I really like specifically when an opening act is totally different but captures the same energy and kind of whets your appetite for what you know is yet to come.
Yep.
And I think that while Godspeed is not a metal band at all, I think that the aesthetic like is on point, and I think that it could work. And I think their
And
fans
Chelsea
could get
Wolfe
into
could
it.
be cool on that
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure. And I want to be signed to her label,
We're just dreaming right now.
Sargent House. Yeah.
We're streaming
Yeah.
and dreaming.
A stream dream.
That Godspeed You was the last show I saw at the Basement East.
Me
before
too.
The
Oh my God.
The old Tornado came in there and just wiped out everything over there.
Amazing night.
Unbelievable.
Ugh.
Yeah, so
especially
that's,
Sentimental Night because that was one of the last live shows I saw in now over like a year.
Dude, I wish I would have known. The last live show I saw, I believe, was the Almost at Mercy Lounge.
cool.
I think that was the last one that I saw. I went to a ton of shows that like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure that was. I also saw Oh Sleeper at the end, which was
I
awesome.
can't believe that's still a band.
Dude, my buddy Seth
Okay.
plays bass in No Sleeper, and
they're sick.
they're so good. And I watched them at Exit. That was the same week, so I'm not sure which one was first. But those are my last 2 shows before the world ended.
Yeah, the Tornado was the ominous ushering of chaos into our world.
It was
in
that
Nashville.
the quarantine happened like 2 weeks after the tornado.
Yeah.
And
So if
then,
anybody doesn't know, a giant tornado basically took an identical path 20 years apart or something. When
It
was
was
the first tornado?
Early
10 years?
Yeah, early 90s. Yeah.
Early 90s? Anyway, a tornado came through Nashville, and it literally walked like almost the identical path that it did 20 years
I think
prior.
it was, I think it was 98 actually.
So like 20 years prior.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
someone like put both of the paths up on on Google or whatever on an image, and they're very similar. It's very creepy. But this tornado came through like North Nashville, parts of North Nashville, Germantown. It went through there and destroyed a ton of buildings.
And East Nashville, 5 points.
Defaced like a ton of buildings too, like blasted windows out and things like that. Then what's funny is when people talk about it, they're like, yeah, that tornado went and walked right up Jefferson Street Bridge. It's like the tornado had like a conscience and was like, all right, let's head over to East Nashville and start jacking stuff up over there. Let's go over there. Yeah, let's check out East Nashville. So then it walked across Jefferson Street, went through and knocked out my favorite music venue.
Yeah.
As well as a bunch of other businesses, High Garden, Burger Up, the Boom Baz or whatever that place is
Boom
called.
Pizza.
The pizza joint.
The Soda Parlor. That Family Dollar.
I have a lot of great memories going to those restaurants, man.
Yeah.
And like that.
Basement East is
gone.
being rebuilt. I saw a picture the other day, though, that they've got a lot
It's being
of it
rebuilt. It'll be back up there soon, but it's just like, man, yeah, that was the initial fabric of things starting to unravel, and then it was pandemic and not knowing anything about what's going on. Then it was 2 weeks. We're going on a 2-week lockdown. It's like, okay, no problem. I got this. Like, no big deal. Then it's a month, Then it's until, people are talking like, we'll be locked down until, June. Then it's July, August, September. And it's just
now
indefinite.
it's October.
And for like a couple weeks, man, if you went out and drove around the city, it was like nothing was going on, man. It was super, super scary. No businesses open late. There's a couple late night food places open up, but dude, currently everything closes at 10:30, I think is the new rule, but it's just it's so weird, man. Like, so then we had that, and now it's just indefinite. And then of course we got riots, and the courthouse was burned here in Nashville, a bunch of other things. Yeah, it's an interesting time that we're living in, but I'm glad to be able to make music with you guys. And
yeah, it's a weird time to be releasing music too. Like, we've had these songs for so long, I'm definitely ready to get them out, but there's also the part of me that's like thinking the timing is so strange for us to be like releasing and promoting and like take your attention off of all this other stuff that's going on, attempting to take your attention off of it, like. But then again,
yeah, but people need an escape.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's what I was about to say. I also don't want to feel like
we got to continue to care about the things that we've always cared about.
Yeah.
We got to continue to care about art. It's important.
Yeah, for
it's
me,
like part of being human. Like, we need it.
Yeah,
we need to celebrate it.
For me, it's hard. It's hard to think about creating art or practicing guitar or things like that. When literally society seems like it's starting to unravel. Thinking about some poetic lyrics or some metal band or whatever just seems so frivolous to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, ultimately I want to live in a society where we can self-actualize and make art like the way that we do now, and we still do, by the way. But
yeah,
I'm telling you, man, if the second Civil War breaks out in the United States, like,
Let's
that's going to be a different scenario.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about the second Civil War, and it's just crazy to think that that's where we're at. And like, I want to live in a society where we can play jazz fusion.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, jazz fusion just doesn't. Well, it hasn't made sense
I'll be right
since
back.
the '90s, but
it's never made sense.
It's never
just
really
play the right notes.
Yeah. It's never made sense. Really, even when society was was better. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you need an opportunity to. Things have to be at a certain level of calm and normalcy, for there to be good art happening in society. I feel like.
And we've done pretty good ourselves with like starting to write more stuff. Even though this album just came out, we're still writing more.
Ben says to write a record about a Civil War II if it comes. Oh my god.
Oh man,
dude.
One thing
I
hope we never do is write a song about COVID. I don't want to be reminded of that more than I already am every day. All these bands are releasing songs about it. I'm like, why do you want to
Quarantine
do
songs
that?
and stuff.
Yeah, why do you want to talk about quarantine and focus on that when you don't have to? It's shoved in your face all day, every day anyway.
Anyway, there
Well,
you go.
that was extremely beautiful, and I take back everything I said. This rakes. And that's how we end up with other songs, because we'll be in a conversation and Drew will just rip something like that, and then we'll be like, oh, let's jam to that, and then Titan Arum is born.
Total Wayne's World moment right there.
But what we're working on a new song that we're writing right now, right? Ephemeral Fur,
Yeah.
which kind of came about in a similar manner. You just started playing something and then we
something like that. It's gonna be cool. And then it goes like yeah, my playing's really sloppy because I've only been doing live stream stuff for the last 48 hours.
yeah.
I haven't even picked up a guitar. It's very depressing.
Ben's like, Wayne's World, nice Aurora, Illinois reference. Every time I tell anyone that I'm from Aurora, they're like, oh, Wayne's World.
Dude,
I guess that's the only thing that anyone knows about Aurora, but
yeah.
is there anything else? No, I guess not.
What a great film. So I'm a music teacher at a school in Bell Buckle, Tennessee. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
That's where the RC Cola Moon Pie Festival is.
That's right. But I love what I do. I love working with kids. It's kind of my first time working at a real school. And most of what I do is just one-on-one private lessons. But I started working at this school, and I was talking to the kids, and I was like, anybody here ever seen Wayne's World? And it's like and these are high school kids, you know, and there's like a blank expression on their faces. Like, what is the word? Did you just say Wayne World?
What did you say?
Yeah,
Pardon
it's literally,
me?
Like, I'm just like, dang, dude, I am getting up there, dude. I'm getting old.
I hadn't seen Wayne's World
So-
until I was working at 312 because they do all their Chicago themed everything, and they had a Wayne's World themed day.
What's Jordan doing, man?
He must be
So
rocking that
here he
that
comes.
porcelain throne.
Here it comes.
Oh, hey.
Come on back in. We're gonna let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
And
Jesse Thompson says Luigi's. He must be talking about that pizza place.
pizza. Chicago's got the best pizza, honestly. 312 here in Nashville really slaps it the best.
That's my alma mater.
And this guy used to be were you the head chef there?
I was.
Head chef.
I was a head chef for quite a while.
Former head chef of 312. Their pizza,
Yeah.
it's the sauce, man. It's something in the sauce. It's the Nashville sauce is total garbage.
I'll tell you what it is. The
Dude, you can't
tomatoes
give
and the
that away.
spices.
The tomatoes and the spices. The sauce is what makes
Yeah.
312 really hit hard. But did you guys want to talk about anything else? Do you want to say anything else?
I think that I have said everything. I really like all the questions that everyone's had. I wish there was 50 times more because I like answering them. It's fun. Engaging with people when it's a hard time to engage with people. But I just appreciate anybody that actually tuned in and watched this. This is super fun, and I've been really excited to release this music for a long time. So, been working on this for way forever.
Yeah, it's time to get some new tunes going.
Yeah, so it's exciting to have an opportunity to share it and to talk to people about it, answer their questions, and actually explain stuff and talk about the meanings. And so this is fun. So I'm glad that everybody watched.
Dope. Jordan, you got anything for us?
Yeah, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for checking out the record. Been buy it on Bandcamp if you feel so led, and hopefully one day we can put out a physical product at some point, and we hope to see you at shows sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a live stream together here before the end of the year for you guys. Full band live stream. That'll be sick. Of us playing music, actually.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But if you like our music, if you like us as people, please send us money because we need it. So I just depleted my bank account to basically pull this off. Not really, but sort of. So please, if you like the album, if you care about us, send us some money.
Just buy the record.
Just buy the record.
You could listen to it for free, but that's no fun.
But we'll have shirts and we'll have other exciting pieces of merchandise soon. Yeti coolers with our faces on them or something. But
Gator masks like yours, but just with the bottom halves of our faces as the print, so you can
that's
look like
actually a
half of us.
Great idea. But yeah,
Surprised no one's done that yet.
You can pay,
Slipknot did that. Slipknot has
send-
masks like that.
do they really?
Yeah, and you can buy the masks from their web store, and it looks like their masks, so it looks like you're wearing
Genius.
their mask.
They're freaking geniuses.
Yeah, duh. They should have done it all the way back in March. They only just did it like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I wonder if we could get the album cover printed on one of these bad boys.
Then you could look like Sydney, and you could have a crazy eye
I
and
would
an
love
owl.
to wear Sydney's face on my face.
Yikes.
And that's a perfect point to
Just kidding. I was just kidding about that.
end this
gosh.
on.
Jordan, real quick, do you want to tell everybody what you're going to go do tonight?
In a couple of hours, I'm going to have prosthetic wounds painted onto my body, and I'm going to go and scare the living out of everybody who comes out to Nashville Nightmare Haunted Attraction.
Jordan has the coolest job out of all of us.
Our band is actually better than your band because our vocalist works at a haunted house. So there you
He's
true.
scaring you on Spotify and Bandcamp and in person at Nashville Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
go. Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. This was really fun. Like I said, PayPal threnodianband@gmail.com, threnodian.bandcamp.com. We'll leave it at that. Stay tuned. We'll probably do this again sometime. In metal we trust.
Yeah. Peace out.
Bye.